Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's me. It's me, Mitch. Back at home. Wow. Back to normal. Double wow. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. Oh, man. Drink it if you got it. Oh, yeah. Wow. I'm going to have to settle back into my routine, I think. Although the disruption of the last few days was... Is that straight? Yes. Wait a minute. Something doesn't look right with this hat. It looks like it's on sideways. I don't want to wear my hat sideways. I don't like it. There you go. Anyway, Sunday morning, Super Bowl Sunday seems to be dominating everything on the news. Super Bowl Sunday. I have some comments to make about that when I get to my show notes. But I've settled down, and wow, we had a great attendance on that impromptu Saturday night thing. Maybe I think that's what I'm going to do from here on out. I'm going to not regularly schedule evening live streams anymore because I think they were fading out, and doing a live stream every morning has just simply been enough of Mitch on any given day, I think, for anybody. But there are things that come up, and sometimes it's fun to just pop up. And God, if I had almost 200 and I think almost up to 230 or 40 people at any one time. That's crazy. That's crazy, incredible. I guess maybe 6 p.m. Saturday isn't a bad time, but doubled what I normally would be able to reach on a 3 o'clock Saturday after the live stream. So for the time being, you can count on this. I will be here every morning, 7 days a week, 9:30 a.m. Morning Coffee with Mitch. Either inside in the coffee shop here or outside on the patio. I will be here every Thursday night at 7 p.m. for our private community. For channel members, private community live stream, where we'll always have a panel. And I'll pop up from time to time, just for fun, when I have something to say, or I think that we can have an entertaining little get-together, and panel optional. How's that? And, just nothing in this sphere is fixed in stone. Anything can change because everything always changes, all around us. So we need the flexibility to change with it. Trying something new today, and I wonder if anybody actually notices. I'm streaming in 1080p today. Streaming in full, high definition, so you can see every whisker on my face, every wrinkle. I don't know if it's more flattering, or maybe I should lower the resolution and get a little fuzzier. But let me know if it's working, if it's stuttering or doing any kind of mishap that's showing a lack of proper bandwidth. I know I'm using about 30% more bandwidth to stream. I monitor it over there. And I should still have plenty to be able to do a 1080p stream. And I did renew my StreamYard caved. They did discount my next year's subscription back to what I paid last year. I said, thank you very much, and immediately renewed. And now I have 1080p, which I didn't have the other day. So all my previous streams were in 720p, which is still considered high definition, but I say, why not? If I can be even prettier and clearer, man, I'm doing it. So look at people coming in here. That's great. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to go back to quickly trying to acknowledge everybody in the pre-chat. I've got all kinds of stuff to show you this morning. And I'm going to spend whatever time it takes to do that. I may not get to a lot of questions, but if you have any questions that you want to ask me about anything, about my experience over the weekend, about why you can't lose weight, about anything, try to get them in early if you can. Because I have a funny feeling that we're going to have a huge chat this morning, and it's going to just keep going and going and going. And I'll spend whatever time it takes. But I'm supposed to have my plumbers coming back today to start insulating underneath my house. I haven't heard from them yet. And I'm going to need to deal with them after we're done here. Hopefully they'll show up. All righty, let's take a look here. Let's take a look and see who was the first one in yesterday. Tuka came here, says, and Tuka thanked me. He popped in and said hello in the stream. Anna PLO7 says, where are you all? This was last night at 7:30. Wow, wow, wow. And Rick was here. Have fun tomorrow. I will not be there. Oh, sorry to hear that, Rick. I don't know. Are you having a live stream this morning as well? Okay, I don't know. But whatever you're doing, have fun. Have fun. Cliff Medina's here. How you doing, Francine Bourgeois? Good to see you. That was last night. Terry Sue, Lady June, Peter. We had a great time on Friday and Saturday. Yes, we did, Peter. Yes, we did. Gary Arzamendi in California, how you doing? Chimed in the middle of the night here, 3 o'clock in the morning, midnight out there where he is. Thomas, Target Prime Rib was here. Mike Pregler chimed in at 4:08 where he lives, 5 o'clock in the morning here. Mike Seeley Jr., thank you. Mike Seeley sent me a video, which I'm going to show you later. And it's astounding, I got to tell you. Surprising to me, even. But we were together over the weekend over there in Tampa. Granny Boo too. Glorious day. Yes, it is a little foggy here this morning, but it's starting to lift. Gregory Smith is here. How you doing, Greg? Wayne Herman's here. Terry Sue, good morning to you. Mike Seeley Sr.'s here. Still before 7 a.m. Patty Molden. Terry, good morning, Terry. Mark's channel. Hi, Mark. How you doing? Oh, Rick is working today. You're working on a Sunday? Rick, it's not only is it Sunday, but it's the most important Sunday on the planet Earth ever. It's Super Bowl Sunday, according to most people. I could give a rat's behind about it, but that's just me. Just because I don't enjoy something doesn't mean I cannot understand why other people don't enjoy it immensely. Golf is like that. I can't stand the game, but I understand why people love it so much. So play golf if you like it. Terry Sue says, she got up, looked at the clock, says, I got 45 more minutes. I'm going back to bed. Oh, that's funny. Josephine C., how you doing? And I see that you renewed your, re-upped in the private community. That's great. Hope to see you there in the live streams. Wow. Who else is new? It's all pre-chat trying to get to 9:30. Terry and Josephine are having a real gab fest here. Wow. There you go. William McCartney, how you doing, William? Good morning to you. And Lori is here. Hiya, Lori. Time to make coffee. Good morning, peeps. She says. Wow. Coffee tastes good this morning. I slept great last night. Oh my God, in my own bed. And I got up at 5 a.m. this morning, and I found out that after all my big plumbing adventures, some dirt must have got in the system, which always does, and I went to flush my toilet and it wouldn't refill, and I said, oh my God, oh no, oh no. So here I was at 6 o'clock in the morning. I went outside and got a bucket. I put it under the toilet. I disconnected the line that, you got the incoming water pipe. You got a valve to turn it off. So if you have to shut the toilet off at the water supply, you can. And I'm plumbing at 6 o'clock this morning. I removed the line between the valve and the toilet. I looked in it. It's just clogged up. And evidently, after all the years, it's just caked up with minerals and everything. And I blew into it, and you could hardly blow through it. And I said, oh, no. Went on my cell phone and says, what time does Lowe's open this morning? They said, 7 a.m. Perfect, I said. Perfect, and you may ask yourself why. I said perfect because I found out. Right across the street, I knew that right across the street from the Lowe's was my post office where my P.O. box resides. And I knew that yesterday afternoon, something was put in that P.O. box for me. A little gifty from my great friend C.B. Carmack, Sheriff C.B. from Alabama. And I said, okay, Sunday morning, no traffic. I can shoot right down there, go to Lowe's, pick up that thing I need, shoot right across the street to the post office, pick up my little gifty, get home, fix the plumbing, open the gift. And all that happened right about 8:30. And am I glad that I changed the time of these live streams. Look what I was able to accomplish in the morning. CB sent me, and I'm taking a little break here because it's going to be one of those mornings. CB sent me a gift, and he had showed it to us on a private community live stream, and a lot of you knew about it. Some of you may think it's a little inappropriate, but you know me. I'll push the boundaries until somebody just wants to go away, But he sent me a coffee cup. He sent me one of the funniest coffee cups I've seen in a long while, and that's the purpose of it. It's funny, and it says, it's right here, and it says, there's a note that he put in there with it. And the note says, something to show the naysayers on Morning Coffee with Mitch. Enjoy, CB. Right. Have your children cover their eyes. If they're watching, this is my new coffee cup. Get it? And if that doesn't get the message across, on the front of the cup is a little graphic. I love this cup. I love it. It is fabulous. It's fabulous. Anyway, I'm not drinking out of it today because I wanted to show it off. Let me know if you think that would be inappropriate for me to use, or if you would enjoy. See, I have many things that people find inappropriate. They find my cigar puffing inappropriate, but I do it anyway. I don't swear like a drunken sailor on these things. In fact, I was watching a live stream, one of Kiltz's live streams this morning from yesterday. He interviewed, I watched just a small part of it, but he interviewed a woman doctor, and the F-bomb came flying out of her mouth within the first 5 seconds of the interview. So I don't imagine that's even all that inappropriate anymore, but it's hard enough to get people to love you. I don't want to piss off too many people. But when something's funny, I go with Larry the Cable Guy when he says, I don't care who you are, that is funny. Well, that cup is brilliant. It is funny. It's a riot. So you may see it on special occasions when the subject matter dictates, or I may just keep it handy even if I'm not drinking out of it to hold up instead of actually saying the words. So I thought that you all would enjoy that. And thank you, CB. Thank you, man. I don't know how to thank you enough for that kind of stuff. I don't know how to thank you. And if you want to thank me, I'm going to put my Buy Me a Coffee link in there and say no more about that. Let that settle in a while. Thank you so much, guys. Okay, let's see. Where was I? I was coming up on 9:15. Steve McAvoy, Lori, Josephine C. Everybody's talking away. Wow, prolific posters. Francine checked back in this morning. Good morning to everybody. Jemet's here. How you doing, Jemet? 9:20. Smoothie, 4:20. Hey, CB is here. Hiya, CB. Still sick as a dog? You're sick as a dog. Well, Jesus, what's it got? You got the flu? Stop it. I'm going to be talking about that little flu epidemic this morning. I saw a big thing on the news. Grabbed my camera and started snapping pictures. I'm going to show you some of those pictures later. I'm going to give you a little bit of the first thoughts that went through my mind when I started seeing all those pictures of talking about the flu. But that'll come in the show notes shortly. We up to 9:30 yet? No. I chimed in. Acknowledged the presence of so many Mitch Fitz. And I'm just looking for somebody new, but you guys are chatting away. Hey, Thomas here. Good morning from Tampa, Viking 442. Good to see you. Marla. Hi, Marla. Marla Kelly's here. How you doing? Up to 150 viewers already. Wow. Happy Sunday morning, guys. Aren't you glad that I started this at 9:30 and you could sleep in? Look at the bright side. Of everything. And are we at 9:30 yet? Not yet. Spiritual nomad. Brooke in the house. Wow. Brooke. I mentioned you on the live stream yesterday. I couldn't remember your channel name. I was having a senior moment. But God, it was so great to meet you. It's so great to meet people who are in this little gang in person. It's fabulous. The hug was great. I don't get many hugs in my life, but no, it was fabulous to meet you. I just so enjoyed that. And I'm glad to see you here this morning. And I'll never forget your channel name again. But that was Brooke that I met there. And there was a number of other people that watched this morning thing on a regular basis that were there. And that might have been the best part of the whole trip, is just meeting people, putting faces to the names. There's just something about when you're in the same space as somebody. There's things that are communication going on between people that you're not consciously aware of, but you get feelings from these things. You get feelings of acceptance, feelings of warmth. That's why it's so great to be around family. These are the people that you're really the closest to in the world, and you're constantly communicating. I have a lot of wild theories about that. That's what I wrote my book about all those years ago. Hey, John Manuel is here from Chile. Good morning, John. How are you? And we're coming up on 9:30, but not quite. Meetup is here. Good morning to you. Wow, you're a chatty bunch this morning. Holy cow. Here's Jerry Graham talking to Peter. CB is chatting away. Wow. Brooke just gave me a super chat. Holy cow. It's okay, my channel name changed for some wonky reason for a day or so. It's not really much of a channel. I never did much with it. Thinking about it still. Need to get over being camera shy. LOL. I understand, Brooke. Thank you so much for the as a super sticker, I guess. I guess. Thank you so much for that. Very nice. And it was fabulous to meet you. And I hope we'll meet again. I'm pretty sure we probably will. Down the road, because you and I are probably going to live long, long, fruitful lives. At least that's the plan. That's the plan. Anyway, I'll throw that up on the screen so everybody can see it when I get down to it in the chat, which is like 100 miles south of where I'm scrolling through to read these things right now to you. I am, of course, way behind, half an hour behind, 20 minutes behind already, but that's normal. That's how we do things here. Claudia Burkick is here. How you doing? 929, Market 929. Steve Rogers. Oh, my God, so close, Steve. 929, Captain America. And ding, ding, ding. The winner this morning, Gary. Gary at No Slow, right on the money. Steve McAvoy chimed in a millisecond later. Who is in a race? Everybody. It's the morning horse race here. Trina Mitchell chimed in. Good morning, Trina. Edward Renner from San Diego. Good to see you. And we had Josephine at 9:30, and Lori and Smoothie and Anna and Terry. Oh my God. And Sandy, and still 9:30. I got to get used to it. Mark Whistler. Hi, Mark. How you doing, Mark? Kenny Cup this morning. I was in one of those moods. And I'm in a great mood. I'm in a fabulous mood, even though yesterday YouTube found my impromptu 6 o'clock Saturday live stream inappropriate for sponsors. I cannot, for the life of me, figure out why they do that. I don't care. I'm not going to let that bother me anymore, but it's just mind-boggling that they figured that something that happened in that live stream yesterday, and nothing happened, nothing but joy and happiness. They didn't think sponsors. My new theory after seeing that yesterday, my new theory is that they don't have enough sponsors now. They don't get bids on these things. And instead of just saying, we can't monetize your channel, they have to save face and say, we found that your channel this video was not appropriate for sponsors. And that pattern has started to emerge because most of the videos that have been demonetized like that by YouTube were on Saturday. So I think that so many people are posting monetized videos on Saturday because it's one of the busiest posting days, I think, of the week for most YouTubers. I think they're just running out of ads. They don't have ads to run on some of these things of people that would advertise on that channel, because not everybody will advertise on every channel. And I'm going to just chalk it up to that and say, okay, as long as they don't demonetize every video of mine, I'm certainly not going to challenge them or ask them to tell me why, because that would take months and months and wouldn't do me any good anyway, because it's all done by algorithm. I think they don't have ads to sell, if you can believe that. I think that's a little scary for the future of this platform, but it is what it is. And at 9:30, we had Rick is still here. Rick, he's installing fiber cables. Good for you. And Bev is here. And Bev was the last 9:30. Trina came in at 9:31 and started the show at 5 minutes to 10. And I see Larry Ryan chimed in, and Lewis L. Lewis, how you doing, Lewis? Wow. Good to see you. I met somebody who was a friend of yours yesterday at the event. Yeah. She said hello for you. And I wish I remembered her name right now, but I don't even hardly. It came at me so hot and heavy over the weekend. I was turning in this direction and turning in that direction, and I tried to remember what I could, but I did remember that a friend of yours said to say hello. So that was great. That was great. And I remember it was a girl, and she was very, very sweet. I even almost can remember what she looked like. Oh, yeah. Pamela Suarez, Bama. Bama J, good morning, Bama. And Jemmet, who else is here? Kim Appreciates Life is here. Lizzie's here. Everybody's here. That's great. Good to see you all. Even Spanky's up in Canada. Oh, good to see you, Spanky. Question from Bev. Dr. Kiltz talks about his girlfriend, Tia, on occasion. Did you get to meet her? She isn't carnivore, though, JOL. You know, if I met, there were so many people there. If one of them was Dr. Kiltz's girlfriend, I wasn't introduced to her as his girlfriend. It was just too hot and heavy. But there were a lot of women around that I didn't know who they were. And here's a question. Oh, yes. That's who it was, Adrian Gledhill. Oh, that was Adrian. God, I hardly recognized her. I've met her before. Oh, my God, I'm embarrassed. But she has lost so much weight. It's crazy. If you don't know who Adrian Gledhill is, she was one of the Biggest Loser contestants. I've been on her YouTube channel a year ago or more, and I didn't recognize her. And she gave me the biggest hug. And you're right, Lewis. I remember that. And thank you for telling me that. Thanks so much. That was sweet of you. And my apologies to Adrian for not recognizing you. I have a built-in excuse, however. Being old gives you excuses for everything. Look, officer, I know I was going 176 miles an hour, but I'm an old man, you know. Sometimes, you know, I'm just not thinking right. Can I get off with a warning as he puts handcuffs on? You know, Sandy Blythe. Good morning to all of you. Danny in Boston is here. Hiya, Aaron. Good morning. Good to see you, Booby Goats. And I'm going to stop with the hellos here pretty soon. I'm only 4 minutes in. Tina Schweikerath. Here's another question. Cool. Mitch, why do you look so blurry from camera, but background is crystal clear? I shouldn't. I look crystal clear on my monitors. When I'm looking, and it's evidently something in YouTube's compression algorithm. And you got to understand compression. That means that the bandwidth is not. Now I'm watching a replay on my monitor here on the right. I'm watching the replay on this monitor. And on this monitor, that is showing me what is actually coming back to me from StreamYard, and it's crystal clear. It's sharp as hell. So if I look fuzzy on your screen and the background looks clear, you have to understand, Gary, how a compression algorithm works. And what a compression algorithm does is it only deals with things that are moving. And the background's not moving. So it's going to be sharp because it doesn't change every 30th of a second like my face does. And every 30th of a second, that algorithm has to compress the things that are moving, send it out, and has to be uncompressed on the other end. And if I come out blurry, it's because you're not getting enough bandwidth to deal with that uncompression, but that's the way they work. The algorithms don't compress or uncompress the things that are not moving. So the background will be sharp. There's a technical description. The higher my resolution, the harder a bad internet connection is going to be to make it sharp. So if any of you are having that same problem, or more of you are having that same problem than you used to have watching me, if I seem blurrier, please let me know. And I'll go back to 720p. I'm trying to push the envelope here a little bit. And that happens to you primarily if you try to watch a 4K video on YouTube. Sometimes it's just unwatchable. Sometimes if you have a strong internet connection, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. There's more technical information than any of you wanted to know this morning. But for anything that happens, there is always a reason. There are no mysteries in the world. There are only unknowns. But sooner or later, we end up knowing it if we look hard enough. Sybil is here. How you doing, Sybil? Good to see you. The on-screen chat is much clearer now, 1080p and easy to read. Yes, and that's because it doesn't change fast enough for it to have to compress and decompress every, 30 times a second, like me moving around is. And if you really want to see it look bad, I can do this and I'll become blurry as hell because there's that many more pixels changing from frame to frame that have to be decompressed. Besides, that makes me dizzy doing that. Anna PL07, good morning. I said earlier to you, good to see you. Who else is new? Anybody else new? I think that's enough for right now. Did I get to 10 minutes in? Oh, another question. Jemet, how you doing? I could not believe size of tomahawk steak. Did you eat it? No, they only cooked 2 of those huge tomahawks, and I think Curry and Kiltz or somebody else, some of the bigwigs got one, but I did see Curry hanging on to the bone, and that thing looked like a baseball bat. Oh, the state of Tennessee is here, the entire state of Tennessee, West Tennessee. Good morning, everyone. Beautiful country out there in West Tennessee. Yes, sir. Kurt Walker is here. Good morning, Kurt. Here's Brooke again. Those steaks reminded me of the Flintstones. Yeah, oh my God, it was primal. I got to tell you, it was primal. It was primal. And you're going to be probably seeing a lot more videos about that as time comes, from Curry's channel, from Kiltz's channel, because they both had photographers following them around. And I've got a real treat for you, or a horror show. However, I don't know how you're going to view it. But I have a huge thank you to Mike Seeley. He sent me a video clip this morning. You ready for this? Of me giving my 5-minute introductory open speech before that crowd of people that I had only learned that I was supposed to do within an hour beforehand. It's like when a magician grabs you out of the audience. You, come up here, and you go up on stage. You've seen these people. They've never been in front of a crowd before. I have never in my life spoken in front of a crowd that large in person. I do it every day here on YouTube. But that, I know I'm talking to people, but they're not. I don't see them looking back at me. Maybe when you come in and we have a chat and you're there on screen, maybe in a live stream thing like that, but that's only a few people, and that's just like being in a room with a few people. And I watched that. I downloaded it, and I previewed it this morning. I was scared to death. I said, well, I have no idea. I don't remember what I said. I wasn't there. I wasn't in the room. No, I wasn't. I wasn't present. It was somebody else up there. It had to be. That's the way I feel when I watch a replay of some of the off-the-cuff speeches. And every speech I make is just off the cuff. I never plan anything. I never script anything. I just start talking, let my brain do the work. And when I hear the words, take the rest of the day off, I come back. But I don't, honestly. It's crazy, and I understand how our minds work and how brilliant they can be if we stay out of their way. And I learned that from doing live streams and things, that when I stay out of the way of my brain and try not to steer it in this way or that way, it does much better on its own. And I'm going to play that clip for you this morning. And I think I'm going to release that clip as a standalone video as well. So if you see it here this morning and I release it as a standalone video, watch it again for me, would you please? Gives me a view. And I think I was so amazed. I've watched it 4 times already. I know this may sound egotistical, but it's not. It's the opposite. I honestly don't think that I have that talent. So when I see myself, let's say, performing, I amaze even myself. And that's not ego. That's an inferiority complex talking. Anyway, maybe now would be a good time to show you that. And I hope I've got I hope I got it all set up where I can show it to you. So let me go set it up and get it ready. Make sure I have my audio on. Make sure I go to the right screen so you don't just get to listen to it. And this is a thank you to Michael Seeley, who filmed me on his cell phone. I mean, hang on to your booties, guys. This guy was good. Make the script. Let me go here. You ready?
Well, I just found out like 10 minutes ago that I'm supposed to do this. And he said, talk for 5 minutes or so. And I said, Kiltz, do you know who you're talking to? An hour. I've never been able to finish a thought in less than an hour, and if nobody stops me, it just keeps going. And anybody who watches me on YouTube knows that rabbit holes are my favorite place. The rabbit holes. The one thing I'm not, though, it makes me feel a little pregnant, pardon the expression, in this room, is I'm not a doctor. I'm not anything. I'm not anything. I never got any letters behind my name. What I have been is the single most curious person on the planet Earth from the time I was this big. I needed to know why. How come? And I never was satisfied with an explanation because I would dig deeper. Why? And I learned at a very young age the art of separating fact from things that are reasonable and make common sense. And everything that we do has to make common sense. It has to have a root, and that root has to be believable as well. Here comes the conflict, the reason that some of us doubt this. Maybe we're very religious. Maybe we're being told, well, according to our evolutionary pathways and our belief in God says, that's not true. That can't be. We discount it all. We don't have open minds. We have ideologies. And that's the greatest barrier that I've seen in trying to help people understand what I think is the actual root cause of these problems. Because if you don't find it and you don't settle and figure a way to overcome that, you're spinning your wheels. You'll do what I did for 75 years. I've been low carb since 1972 when I read Robert Atkins' first book. I've been a health nut for 75 years. But I've always been bouncing between 150 and 210 pounds. Up and down, up and down. I invented the roller coaster. Honest to God. I never knew why I couldn't sustain this for life. I knew all the principles, I knew the science, I learned evolutionary biology, I learned biochemistry, I learned paleontology. I studied all that stuff. All those things that Ken Berry says that he studied when he woke up, I've been studying from the time Ken Berry was born. And I understand that, and I keep looking for the answers. I can't be a doctor, but they've been calling me professor all my life because I love to teach. I love to teach and I love to help people. But all I can teach you are things that I have personally witnessed and experienced and can speak to that aren't secondhand information that I become the expert because I heard so-and-so say it. So I'm not an expert. I don't want to be called an expert. I was humbled when Kiltz says to me, we want you to be an expert. I said, well, I know. I'm a comedian. I'm a comedian. Like Rodney Dangerfield, I was in rough shape yesterday, but I'm okay now. I mean, that's what I like. I'm a closet comedian. So what I try to do is not disagree with anybody, not fight with anybody. Merely tell you, look, been trying to do this for 75 years. I learned that no matter what I do, I can lose the weight. No matter what I do, I will put it back on within 3 months. Because I'm a carb addict. I am such a raging carb addict that I cannot control it. I can't, never could. Lose the weight, hey, I'm there, celebrate, let's go have a pizza and some ice cream, and 3 months later, 200 pounds again. It wasn't until I found carnivore, no carbs, abstinence completely from carbohydrates, like an alcoholic has to abstain and like a drug addict has to abstain. You will not cure your addiction. And for people like me, that's what finally did it, getting off the carbs. I think my timer counted down. Kiltz wants me to go. I told you, I warned you. Don't get me started.
If you haven't yet watched Old Guy Carnivore Mitch on his morning lives, you must. He's quite entertaining, but he's sharing stories that we all love to hear.
Now, how cool was that? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I got to tell you, I was blown away. And I looked at that and I watched it again. And then I watched it again. And I said, where the hell did that come from? I've never spoken in front of a crowd of people with a microphone in my hand like that before. I was afraid, I honest to God, I don't remember what I said. And until I saw that video, I was afraid that I probably somehow really embarrassed myself. And I think it actually came off pretty good, but I thought you'd get a kick out of seeing that. It was a first for me, I got to tell you. And I actually felt pretty comfortable doing it. I wasn't really nervous, but I have no idea what I said or what I was going to say. It just comes out. And that's how I make my videos, same way. Very few of them ever get edited. That certainly had no chance of getting edited. It was live. Anyway, I thought you might enjoy that. I do have some show notes here today. And I'll try to dive and find some questions from you guys. How we doing on time? No, not too bad. Not too bad. If you got a question, put 3 Qs, capital Qs, or 4 or 5 or 2, whatever. Just they stick out that way. Oh, it looks like somebody did buy me a coffee. Mark Whistler bought me a coffee. Nice cup. Not as good as CB's, but it'll do. Oh, it's just as good in an entirely different way. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I can't believe it's Sunday and my daughter's telling me there's computer work I need to do. Oh, my God. Okay. I'll deal with that later. Sorry, I turned off my notifications, but I did see the little coffee thing lit up there. I want to go into my show notes. So I turned on the TV this morning, and let me set this up and get it ready. I have some folders over here. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Let me go to the first picture, get that up on the screen, and I'll talk about this. So I watched TV this morning, and a news story comes up, tracking flu cases. And the subject was, and being health related. Being health related, I said, well, this fits in with my morning live stream. We talk about health. So I snapped a little picture, and this is the local Fox. I think this is Channel 9. This is the local ABC affiliate, and her name is Sam Martello, and she was talking about flu cases. And I just started snapping a bunch of pictures. May not seem like in any order, but I think they were in the order that they showed up on the screen. And she started telling the story. And of course, the first picture was this poor woman, obviously, laying on the couch, suffering from the flu, box of Kleenex in front of her. And then we met these two obviously fabulously healthy-looking people. And their baby's got the flu, and they're not feeling too hot either. And they interviewed her, and she was talking all about the flu. And then the doctor expert comes on the screen. Does this require any comment from me? Dr. Martin Topiel, Infection Prevention Officer at Virtua Health. This is where the flu cases are way higher than normal. Another shot of our poor woman still suffering. And here's the answer. There's still time, even though it's late in the flu season, to get your flu shot. Final word from our doctor. And then I took a picture of this. It came up on my screen. And it's a video that Anthony Chafee just released. Has nothing to do with the flu. It was just released this morning, and evidently, it's got a nice, catchy title, You Don't Need Ozempic, and I thought that was a very strong message. Obviously, it's a half-hour interview with Chafee and Eric Westman. So just thought I'd point that out if you want to watch it. It's not, I don't think it requires me to make a video. I haven't watched it yet. I know what they're going to say. I don't think anybody needs Ozempic. Eat a steak does the same thing. And that, the one overarching conclusion that I came to about the fact that there's nothing unusual or even surprising about the fact that everything that happens to us just gets worse and worse every year. And I don't care if it's an infectious disease. I don't care if it's a chronic illness. I don't care if it's diabetes, heart disease, dementia. It has one thing in common. The health of the human race is going down the tubes. And the fatter and sicker that we get, the harder our immune systems have to fight these things off. And it just amazes me that when they keep showing or finding these people who are so sick, and this happened back during the pandemic, they were all sick and fat. Duh. Has anybody made the connection? Baby, get healthier and you won't get the flu. Now, it doesn't mean you're immune to it, but you're much less likely to it. The people who were healthy were much less likely to die during the pandemic. And their symptoms were nowhere near, they weren't going on respirators. It was the people with the comorbidities that were having all the problems, mostly the older people. Why are the older people so sick? They've been poisoning themselves with slow poisons all that much longer. It is so obvious to anybody with their eyes open. And all they can do is make more Band-Aids rather than fix the actual cause of the problem. And the more I see of this, and the more I learn about this, and the longer I'm immersed, and all of us are immersed in the carnivore space and learn about the medicine and learn about the causes of these things, the more outrageous and infuriating it gets to see that nobody's doing anything about it. I did not hear a mention of nutrition and health, real health, anywhere in that fairly lengthy story on the news this morning about about the flu season. The other big thing on the TV this morning, of course, was Super Bowl. It's Super Bowl Sunday, folks. Super Bowl Sunday. And the Fox affiliate here in Orlando was teasing for the entire hour before 8 o'clock in the morning that their coverage of the Super Bowl, the day, was going to start at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. this morning, it's going to be all Super Bowl all day, my friends. This is of such great importance to the human race that we need to start covering it at 8 a.m. I don't think they covered the presidential inauguration for as many hours as they're going to cover the Super Bowl today. And again, my crazy mind, I say, what the hell's so important? What the hell can you do? Are they going to do the same thing for the Daytona 500 next weekend? What have you got to talk about? Are you going to talk about football strategies? Are you going to introduce the players? Are you going to have personal stories about all the players? Are you going to talk about the fact that this football player couldn't decide and agonized over whether he should buy that $6 million house or buy that $7 million house, and how painful it is to have to agonize over those decisions? No. What are we talking about? And this is the irony of it. We're talking about parties, my friend, parties. And what are parties for? To eat and drink. And from there on this morning, the conversation was 100% crap food and alcohol-based discussion. And I'm afraid it's going to go on all day with a stream of advertisements from every food company, every beverage manufacturer, and every drug company telling you how to get skinny after you completely screw yourself over. But you know what they weren't talking about? They weren't talking about football. The Super Bowl Sunday has nothing to do with football anymore. Nothing. It's crazy. And don't people recognize this? It's like Christmas. Christmas has nothing to do with religion anymore. It's all about commercialism. What can we sell people? What base human instincts can we appeal to get them to part with their money and make themselves sick? And that's what it's all about. And that, my friends, is Super Bowl Sunday. And like sheep, we're all following, busy in the kitchen, whipping up all of that crap. And maybe somewhere there's a smart carnivore that sits down in front of the TV with some chicken wings or burger patties, a glass of water, and enjoys the Super Bowl game. But I don't think you're going to find too many of them. And that was just an observation that I had, and I have these things everywhere now. The more aware you become of how screwed we are, the more obvious these things that we all just take for granted when they parade in front of your face. I'm sure many of you, get exactly the same thoughts now. Same thoughts. So have a nice Super Bowl Sunday. That's all. Just have a nice Super Bowl Sunday and try not to succumb to the temptations that are triggers during that parade of commercials. There's a few things that may happen to people today because of the commercials. Number one, people are very likely, if they're on a diet, to go off their diet with the rational excuse of, well, it's Super Bowl Sunday. I promise I'll start again tomorrow, and next year I won't let this happen to me again. The same promise they make every year on Super Bowl Sunday. And the second thing that may happen to people today is they may find themselves buying a new car because they're going to get deluged with car ads. Anyway, that's enough ranting for me. That's enough show notes for today. we're almost to an hour already, and I need to look for some questions here. And as I do that, Steve McAvoy says, Mitch, are you up to taking a ride to Miami and try iguana? Probably not. Probably not. I do not enjoy traveling, not on these roads, not with these lunatics. I just got done. Ask me again in a month. Ask me again in a month, Steve. But no, I'm not going anywhere for a while. I've had enough of this traffic in Florida here to last me for a couple of months at least. I go to the store. I'll go to Sam's Club. It would take a lot more than an iguana to get me to go to Miami. I've spent so much time in Miami in my lifetime that I stay away as far away from there, from South Florida, as I can. The politics are changing a little bit, so it probably won't be as obnoxious. But it's been a crazy place. It's a beautiful place. I've been down there when I had my big boat. I used to go down there. We used to go down there for boat shows, dock down there at a marina and spend a week in Miami. I mean, it's a gorgeous place, but people are crazy down there. You try to drive on those roads, there are so many people that just, 110, 120 miles an hour, get out of my way, cut you off. It's scary. And I'm a pretty good driver. And I'm a pilot, and I can operate machinery under pressure, but it's not relaxing. Anyway, hope that answers that for you. And the most important question of the morning from Tuca: how are you, boss? Honestly, if I was any better, it would be illegal. Thankfully, they have not made laws against me feeling this good, and I can continue to go. Whoa, Ellen is here. Hiya, Ellen. Wow, CB, me too. I guess I caught it from you. Oh, everybody's sick. Are you sick too, Ellen? Oh, no. Well, people who are on carnivore and healthy still get sick, but maybe not as sick as some of the other people. I still say and stick to my guns when I say that if the unhealthier you are, the more likely you are to get sick. It's an odds game. It's an odds game. And the more these different bacteria and viruses will mutate and form new and more powerful and survivable viruses. Remember, a virus can't mutate. A virus is not alive. A virus is just a whole glob of different chemicals. It can't reproduce until it latches on to the cellular mechanics of the host organism and goes for a free ride and becomes and reproduces and duplicates along with the rest of that cell that's duplicating. That's how viruses grow. They have to have a medium that supports cellular reproduction, or else they're just inert little things. Now, bacteria are different. Bacteria are living organisms, but a virus is not an organism. A virus is just a glump of genetic code that latches on to the cellular division mechanics of whatever the host it happens upon. I don't know if many people realize that. And as my shirt says, it says, I could be wrong, but I don't think so. And that applies in this case, too. Don Schonger says, good morning. 9:42, 45 minutes behind, man. Yes, sir. West Tennessee says, how do I stop losing weight? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Eat when you're hungry. Stop eating when you're full. Your body will find if you're doing the diet right, you're eating an appropriate amount of fat and protein. You're eating, plenty of bacon and eggs and good fatty beef and stuff like that. And you're eating till satiety. You're eating till you don't want to eat anymore. Your body will find the weight that it thinks it does best at without asking you for your conscious input. It's not about appearance. I don't think so. Now, if there's something wrong with you, that you just keep losing weight to the point where you are off the bottom of the chart, see a doctor. There might be something wrong with you. But if you're otherwise healthy, your weight will find its way. and revel in the fact that that's not a question I get too often. Not too often. A lot of vegans ask themselves that question, and the answer for them is start eating meat. Stop being a vegan before you die. But we can't tell anybody how to live. We can make suggestions and not be offended if they don't follow them. Terry Sue loves the cup. It's hilarious and probably demonetizing. It can't be. It can't be. Everybody uses that F word everywhere. And that cup does not have the F word on it. It doesn't. If artificial intelligence were to scan that and read that cup, the worst it would find would be the word pho, F-U-H. What the hell is that? It's a funny thing. I love it. For those of you who don't know what she was talking about, I'll flash it on the screen again for you right there. Trina Mitchell loves the cup. Everybody loves the cup. Perfect cup. Perfect cup. That's great. Oh, man. LCKM, I don't know you. Somebody new. Good to see you. Welcome. That cup is brilliant. It is brilliant. It really is. It really is. I'm trying to read some of this. Here's Seaside has a question. Mitch, anything you learned at the meetup about the carnivore lifestyle? Nothing I didn't already know. Not a thing. Not a thing. I listened to all the esteemed doctors. I listened to Boz. I listened to Philip Avadia, Nelson. I listened to all of them. I've heard it all before. Not that it wasn't interesting. They all gave good talks. They all answered questions. Everybody had a different point of view for so many things. I stayed out of that. I think I fielded 2 or 3 other questions, and to tell you the truth, I don't even remember what they were. But I did my best to be the quote expert, and I had a great time. And as you just saw in that little video, proved to myself that I can actually stand in front of a bunch of people with a microphone in my hand and not make a fool out of myself, which was a complete unknown to me until I watched the video. I know that sounds kind of silly. Try it yourself. We've all seen comedians on stage with microphone. We've all said, or speakers, we've all said, wow, I could never do that. Well, that was me. I was saying, I don't know, I'm not a public speaker. I don't think I could do that. Maybe doing these YouTube things has primed me for it. But I was pretty sure I'd embarrassed myself. Everybody seemed to applaud and laugh, so I figured, well, it couldn't have been too bad. But I had no idea that it actually was that coherent a speech from beginning to end. And not just rambling. That's always a possibility. Mama Bear's here. How you doing, Mama Bear? Good to see you. And Cynthia Vonk, I met Cynthia there. Yes, I met Cynthia. It was so great meeting you guys. So great. Look who's here. Oh, my goodness. I don't know if you're still here, Kiltz. That was a while ago. I can't imagine you're still watching 45 minutes later. But look at that. Robert Kiltz, another awesome day, my brother and friends. Thanks for giving us all such great content and advice and YouTube said, that's it, Kiltz. That's all you're allowed to write. No, that's cool. That's great. And CB's talking to Ellen, Pamela, Terry Sue, and Michael Pregler goes, Kiltz. Yes, Kiltz was here. Oh, here it is. Mitch, the master, we love you. Hello all. Thank you, Robert. God, got to be one of the nicest men on the planet Earth. Honestly, it's an honor to have you in here, Kiltz. You mean to tell me she hasn't dropped yet? Holy cow, what's she doing? Kiltz's daughter is pregnant and about ready to deliver the whole weekend. Every time his phone rang, man, he jumped. Is this it? And Do you mean to tell me that she's still, well, listen, I would imagine you are on your way up to New York to be there when your grandson is born. And you be sure and let us all know, or pictures or something, when that happens. When that happens. Good luck to you, man. Welcome. Your world will change. I can tell you that. If this is your first grandchild, your world will be different when that happens. So will your children's. Their lives will be affected a lot more than yours, but being a grandparent is a cool thing. It is cool. You know what the good news, Kiltz, if you're still watching about being a grandparent, is you can enjoy and bounce the baby around and go, hey, this is great fun. Hey, and make the baby smile and then go, here, I need to go. When you're a parent, you can't walk away from them like that. But that's a grandparent's privilege. And just watch out. Watch out for the tendency for them to want to do the same thing and foist the kid on you at any time. And you ended up being a very talented unpaid babysitter. Now, you might really enjoy that. And if you do enjoy it and they don't overdo it, you got a great thing going on there. I am not on live today, travel to New Jersey. Yeah, I imagine you would be. You would be. I'm surprised that you're not a grandpa already. Yes, Kiltz is in the house, says Bev. Wow, what a treat. And says hi to you, Bev. Wow, what a special treat. You see also, United Carnivore, Mike Seeley, he knows Mike. He knows Mike, and Kiltzy. People are astounded. Wow. Maybe Mitch really does know Kiltz. Maybe all those we saw in those videos wasn't just, artificial intelligence. Everybody's saying hi to you. Man, you're popular here, Kiltzy. You come in anytime. Come in anytime. And this is where Brooke gave me that super chat. That was great. It was so great. So great to meet her. Wow, Kiltz shook up my live stream here this morning. Look at this. Kiltz is here. He's the one that weirded out my entire week from that 2 a.m. live stream. Terry. Yeah, Terry's in California, Kiltz. She got up to watch the live stream that we did the other morning at 2 a.m. And she weirded out her entire week. That's funny. That's funny. Oh, Mitch. Josephine says, you're so lucky to have these awesome Mitch fits. Yeah, they call my tribe and my community Mitch fits. Because I would always refer to us as misfits because we don't fit in with society anymore. So I would just come on and say, what a weird tribe of misfits we all are when it comes to society. And somebody named them Mitchfits, and it stuck. And it stuck. It stuck. Wow, 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 wow. Everybody's saying hi to Kiltzy. Steve Boy's saying hi to Kiltzy. CB thanks me. Thank you for the cup. It is a conversation piece. It's so clever. It's so clever. Some people have great creative talents to come up with the idea, let alone the execution of something like that. Lat's here. What is this? Sounds serious. Hope it's okay to say we all need some validation too, especially when we might have those doubts and feelings of imposter syndrome. Only really smart people have that self-doubt. That's true. That's true. I mean, I tried to get that point. That's another great way of describing how you feel when people think you're important and you're kind of have a little inferiority complex and don't think maybe I'm not worthy. It's tough. It's tough to get over that. That's the opposite of an egomaniac or a narcissist. The narcissist thinks he's the butter on the bread. He's the answer and the solution to everything. The truth stops here. That's a narcissist. That's an egomaniac. A lot of people can't recognize the difference. Even if it's you can't recognize the difference. You don't know whether the most important thing for you is to be the big man on campus None of them recognize that. And Kiltz says, best place to be, Coffee and Mitch. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, my friend. Can't believe you're hanging around this long. That's great. That's great. That's great. Are you flying up in your own plane, or you jump on a commercial flight for this one? Oh, Meetup in Boston, May, more to come. That would be cool. That would be cool. I'll tell you what, if it turns out to a real event, I mean, that's one thing that somebody could actually get me back on an airplane to go, maybe, to a big meetup in Boston. I was stationed outside of Boston in 1967, out at Fort Devens, Massachusetts, in Ayer, Massachusetts, 30 miles west of Boston. And I used to date college girls in Boston, and I used to drive that 30 miles into Boston, 4 or 5 times a week. And I loved the city. Forget the politics. I loved the city of Boston. It was a beautiful city. I don't know what's happened to it. I haven't been back there since 1967, but I loved it. I loved it. That would be kind of cool. Be kind of cool. I thought, that's right, your daughter, you're not in, no, I thought your daughter was in New York, but maybe Boston. I might have missed that. Brooke says to you, Kiltz, good morning. Thank you for such an amazing, inspiring event yesterday. Yes, wasn't it, Brooke? Brooke was there. Hey, Kiltzy, I hope that that photographer of yours got some really, really comprehensive footage so that you guys can, because I left it up to you and Curry to put out whatever kind of a documentary about that event is going to happen. And that's why I didn't do a whole lot of serious filming. I actually took the day off from being a star, a cameraman, and a producer, and just enjoyed the hell out of myself for the first time in a long time, where I wasn't having to work. And I really did it. I really did appreciate that. I really did have a good time. And it was good to get home yesterday. The drive wasn't too bad. Probably maybe 45 minutes longer than if there was no traffic. I did get about 15 miles of come to a stop, creep a little forward, come to a stop, creep a little forward when you get, as you're approaching Disney, but wasn't as bad as it could have been. I've waited sometimes 3-4 hours to get through that log jam, depending on what time of day it was. That's why I bugged out as early as I did. If I had been 1 hour later, I would have gotten home 3 hours later than I did. Kiltz says, more meetups on the way for all of us Lions to connect and take control of our lives. Fantastic Tampa Healing Humanity meetup. Yeah, that's an understatement. That's an understatement. Hey, retired Rick chimed in. How you doing? How we doing in time? Still way behind. God, it's, what time did I start? 9:30, 10:30, quarter. Okay, I'm only an hour and like 15 minutes into this. So we're doing great. We're doing great. These things always go an hour and a half. They always do. Some people are, are down to 148 people. Not that that's not a fabulous audience, but when I see that, I know it's people. It's Saturday, people or Sunday. People, go to church. They got things to do. They get tired of me. They get tired of me. But since Kiltz is here, and I don't know if he's still here, but I got one more little video here. One more little video. Let me just cue it up here. See how long it is. It is, I can't see it. It's way over there. It's 2 or 3 minutes, and I thought maybe you'd like to see this. It's Kiltz talking to a few of us had gathered around out by the pool as everybody was setting up. So let me run that for you. It's only a couple minutes, because Kiltz is here, and in his honor, we'll let him be the star a little bit. So let's get over here to this. Hit the play button.
That we're all doing this because of your individual stories. And I kind of look at this a little bit like a relay race. We're passing a baton around the world to inspire all of our brothers and sisters how to heal themselves
and heal your brothers and sisters, your children, their children, their children. Because in medicine, come on, Max. Oh yeah, Max. Can't do this without Max. I love you, Max. And Bella, thank you for being here. And everyone, thank you for taking the time to come all the way from wherever you're coming. We've got South Dakota, Ohio. What's the furthest? Texas, Colombia. And
I think she gets the cake.
she does, but it's a steak. And
Meat cake.
tomorrow we're all gathering to listen to those that have been practicing this for longer. And eventually you're going to be practicing this for longer, and you're going to be sharing something that's helping all of us eliminate the diseases that we in medicine espouse to idiopathic. You guys know what idiopathic means?
You don't know what the problem
We're
is.
idiots. We don't know what the F we're talking about, right? Absolutely. And I'm grateful to each and every one of you. This meat today is from Buffalo, Wyoming. Wyoming Wagyu from Bighorn Mountain Farms, which I met when we were in the Wyoming Meetup last year, and Mark McKinley's farm, his Wyoming Wagyu won of all comers from Wyoming. And so I know you guys are all going to enjoy it. We might have a little bit of ice cream, Kiltz's ice cream, afterwards. You decide what you want to do. Yes, Dr. Nelson.
Do you make any provisions for those the vegans one?
Yes. The vegans can eat the vegan steak.
Grass, right?
Right?
Yeah,
Right.
the grass. Yeah,
But I want you to.
I thought this was for the vegans right down
Yes,
the middle
you
of
get
the
what's in the
table.
middle of the table. And so pick your plate, and we're going to have family style.
Yeah, and there's no seasoning on the steaks at all. There's salt on the table if you want to add some salt to it. We didn't add any salt to any of this yet, so salt your own once you get to the table. And there's some butter.
Is there butter, and is there some bone marrow butter coming? Yes. And the knife, the board, and the salt is a gift for each and every one of you. And I feel very honored to be part of this, because we all bring our own unique stories. And doctors, unfortunately, we were taught propaganda. And Winston here is coming from Costa Rica. Doc, I've known from upstate New York for years. And we're talking about a holistic healing center down there. So each and every one of you is part of the pass the baton, learn yourself. It's crazy concepts. Right, Eric? And we're all learning crazy concepts. And okay, Mitch, we might have a cigar later.
Oh, we are absolutely.
All right. So pick a spot wherever you want to sit. Grab your there's a plate over here. You can grab your board if you want. But grab the plate, set it on your board. Then you don't have to clean your board later, and you just take it right with you. And the knife.
Okay. We dip it in the pool?
You could dip it in the pool. All right. So.
That was great. That was super. I thought that you'd all enjoy that, and I hope it made some of you feel like you actually were there, because I wish everybody could have been there. And to think I almost missed that. That would have been such a tragedy for me. And I thank Kiltz, if you're still watching, for twisting my arm, man. In some respects, it did alter the course of the rest of my life just a little bit. Things do that to you throughout your life. Your life has many points where it could go this way or it could go that way. Not a whole lot of difference. So I'm so grateful that it went the way that it did. Things are looking up for me. It didn't even bug me the slightest that YouTube said we're demonetizing your Saturday video because our subscribers don't want to run ads on it. Yeah, it's a little less income. You guys make up for it these days. You guys are helping me, and I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate all of it. All of it. Anyway, let's see. Let me keep going down the chat. Am I catching up a little bit? I'm at 10 o'clock in the chat. Oh, no, I'm going further behind. Okay, it's going to be, I doubt Kiltz is even here still, but he does listen to the replay. So many people, I didn't realize it. So many people consider this like a podcast and just listen to it when they're driving or working or doing other things. And that's very flattering. That's very flattering. Jeff Johnson has some advice here. Jeff, sometimes it's best to find out 5 minutes before speaking. You don't have time to be nervous and keep it off the cuff. After all, we're tired of our politicians who read a script from from a teleprompter. Yeah, that's always been a problem. And it's really scary when you find out these people can't read. They're illiterate. And you know that the crap on the teleprompter is nothing that they wrote. Nothing that they wrote. They're not even human beings. They are scripted automatons, most of these politicians, right on down to the hand movements and everything, designed to screw and fool the most number of people in the shortest period of time. I have no respect for them. Hey, Jackie's not here. No, you're late. That's okay. It's okay. We have reruns for that. Who else we got? Who else we got in here? We have looking for questions. Still got time to answer a few questions if I see them. I'm having a good time this morning on a Sunday morning. Having a good time. The sun is shining. It's going to be a beautiful day in the low 80s down here. It's one of those life is good. Life is good days. Not every day is like that. Some days, life can be an absolute pain in the ass. But I think the trick is to be able to, switch gears. When you get a day where you got a smile on your face and everything seems great, to go into the life is good mode. Stay there as long as you can. I am scrolling and looking at the chat, trying to catch the meaning of some of these things. We are at 10:21, about a half hour. Okay, I'm catching up. And in our Super Bowl mode, Spanky has let us know who he's rooting for. I, on the other hand, being from Philadelphia, have no choice. Oh man, Peter, that's flattering as hell. Thank you for that. Thank you. Who was the best doctor on the Tampa VIP panel yesterday? My humble opinion, Professor Mitch. Oh man, I don't think the medical board would say that, but thank you for that. Thank you for that. That's very kind of you to say. And Seaside just came up with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Seaside. Very kind of you. Off to shoveling snow, she says. Thank you, Mitch. And again, I can see it in the real-time chat as it happens, but I can't display it on the screen until I either skip way ahead, which take a long time in this chat, or keep going, trying to make sure I don't miss much. And I think this is a better way to do it. So take my word for it. And Peter's commenting, yesterday, Coach Lisa Pickett said that people should make it their goal to stop drinking coffee because it has 150 dangerous. Do you agree or disagree with her advice? Peter, sometimes that question doesn't even merit a comment. I'm sorry. My advice to Coach Lisa, don't drink coffee. Here's your answer. For every Coach Lisa, I can find an equal number of people as qualified or more that will tell you the 150 good things that coffee does for you. My opinion is none of those things really are going to make any major difference one way or the other. It's not like you're drinking a cup of cyanide every morning. Enjoy your coffee. Don't sweat the small stuff. If it enriches your life and takes one day off the end of it, potentially, that's a great investment in happiness. That's why I still smoke cigars. I mean, I've listened to every argument about how much better off I would be if I didn't puff on those cigars. What a great way that cup is to answer a question, isn't it? Thanks for that, Peter. Like Sealy, we may have to let someone else pour the water next time. I don't understand what that means, but did you spill water all over yourself? Terry Seuss, I'm eating bacon with my coffee. Yes. Oh, CB is commenting on the Super Bowl. President Trump and Taylor Swift in the same stadium. Yeah, but guess who else is going to be there? Jill Biden. Can you imagine? Where's Joe? How come Joe's not gone to the Super Bowl? Inquiring minds want to know. We can only guess. And Thomas says, I bought you a coffee. I'm not monitoring that too closely because I turned off my things. Let me see here. Let me see here. If you did, I'm sure you did if you say you did. Yes, you did. You did, thank you, before Mark. But I didn't see it. They both came up at the same time and only showed me the last one. Yes, thank you so much. Do I need a reason? No, Thomas, you need no reason to ever buy me a coffee. Appreciate that. And Mark Whistler bought me a coffee. Always appreciated, guys. You know that. Thank you so much. And I don't put the link up there too often, and if you all know where to find it if you need it. People buy me coffees when I'm not live, which is really special to me when somebody actually goes out of their way to find the link. And it's a simple link, buymeacoffee.com/OldGuyCarnivore. Repeat that 12 times, and you'll never forget it. Oh, yeah, here's the snacking for the carnivore. Kathy says, stock them on pork rinds. Yes. I'll tell you, pork rinds are not like potato chips. You try to eat an entire bag or two of pork rinds, and you get satiety. It's all fat and protein. There's no urge to keep going. Nobody ever said about pork rinds that you can't eat just one. Yes, you can. You can eat just one pork rind, and it doesn't trigger anything. It's one of the handiest little helpers that any low-carb diet can have. It's a cracker substitute. It goes crunch. You can put stuff on it. You can put meat on it. You can put fish, salmon on it. You can spread, well, you got to be careful with spreads. They're usually full of something you don't want to eat. Still looking for questions, trying to find any interesting comments. We'll keep this going here for a few more minutes. And hopefully my plumber has showed up, although I don't hear any activity underneath my house. Maybe the only plumbing that's going to happen today is what I did at 6 o'clock this morning. And I'm so proud of myself. So proud of myself. Steve McAvoy is still trying to get me to drive to Miami. No! 1,000 times no. Jackie W. says, I found Dr. Kiltz when I asked the question, why do we sweeten ice cream? It's a good question. I won't get into that now because we're sugar addicts is why. And I did hear, I will say something about that. I did hear a long time ago when I was kind of high on the Zone diet back years and years. I mean, you remember how long ago the Zone came out. It wasn't long after Atkins, and it was a guy named Barry Sears. And Barry Sears was a very talented biochemist who worked for a drug company. And his job was to invent what they call drug delivery systems. I mean, think about it. You got something in your body that needs the drug. Somebody's got to engineer a way where your own biology and physiology will actually get that drug out of your stomach because you put it in your mouth or you inject it into your bloodstream into where it needs to go. And that's called a drug delivery system. And Barry Sears is very talented. So I said, well, man, if somebody knows about human biology, it would be this guy. And right about then, they had come up with this thing they called the glycemic index. And they didn't have CGMs back in those days. You couldn't just monitor your blood sugar. They had to put a bunch of people in a room and feed them different foods and then constantly take their blood over a period of time and see which foods spiked their bloods the most. And that gave them an index of which foods that contain sugar digest faster than others, and they, not surprisingly, found out that pure glucose was at the top of the list, so they assigned that to number 10, and that things like broccoli were like were like the 10th on the list. So they, and then they had a sliding scale of 1 to 100 of a glycemic index, and that's when they discovered that like the most glycemic food on the planet that human beings could eat were two things. They were dry popcorn and rice cakes. Coincidentally, what the morons out there decided was the least fattening food you could eat. Turned out that dry popcorn and rice cakes were almost equal to just consuming poor sugar. It digested so fast, and your blood sugar spiked so high that it was awful. But one thing they discovered, which was an epiphany moment to me, and has guided so much of what I tried to practice and believe ever since I learned that about how not all sugars and carbs cause an equal insulin spike, was that when these same sugars, when you smeared a ton of butter on that rice cake, the glycemic index went way down. When you ate low-fat ice cream, your sugar spiked like crazy. When you ate the highest fat ice cream you could find, the Haagen-Dazs, the Ben & Jerry's, it was much less harmful. Anything eaten with fat, any sugars, any carbs eaten with fat, and that right there in my mind, because I knew what the French paradox was, because I'd been studying that stuff, and I'm talking 30, 40 years ago. I knew about the French paradox, the thorn in Ansel Keys' side. I knew about it 30, 40 years ago. I was trying to figure that out. Why is it that the French, who have the highest fat diet, have the lowest rates of these chronic diseases? That was called the French paradox because Ansel Keys could not find a place to fit it into his 7-country study to prove that fat is bad for you. It turns out, and I learned this, again, 30 or 40 years ago, that fat was the reason that people who still consumed sugars didn't suffer, because it slowed down the metabolism of any sugars to the point where you don't get the insulin spike. You're not as likely to become insulin resistant or have metabolic syndrome. And if you look at the way the French cook, everything's got, even the stuff they bake, like croissants and French pastries, is dripping with butter. Even when they eat meat, which is good for you, they put these high-fat cream sauces on everything. French cooking is as close to carnivore as you can get because of the high-fat diet, and that's why the French were healthy. But in our intelligence and propaganda-minded way of trying to explain things, they asked themselves the question, but they started with a false premise. And the way they asked themselves the question, and the way I even read this when I read about the steps that they went through, they said, well, we know fat is bad for you, clogs your arteries and kills you. That's their given. What is it that the French are doing to make them 7 times healthier than us, considering they eat all that fat? And these rocket scientists decided, well, we know the French drink a lot of red wine. It must be the red wine. And I've told that story before. That's how it happened. Now wine became the cure. And they started recommending people drink wine. And the wine industries jumped on the bandwagon with their propaganda and bragged about that, how healthy red wine was. You should drink 1 or 2 glasses a day. And next thing you know, alcohol became medicine. But don't eat that dastardly fat. Fat is the cure. Fat is the cure, not the disease, not the cause. We've been so brainwashed over all these years, we can't get that through our heads. And there's so much evidence for that over the years. So much evidence. I don't know how I got started down this rabbit hole, but these are things that I can't remember or think back on too often, and I can't keep repeating them too often, because you know what it does? It just makes all this make so much more sense and so much more believable, and helps us have confidence that there's just another little bit of logic that tells me that all that crap my doctor tells me is just so much horse poop, to be kind. Anyway, love these rabbit holes, man. I love them. I love them. Okay. All right. Let me go down here, look for any more questions. How am I doing? 10:43. Oh man, this is a long one today. Holy cow. But that's okay. It's Sunday. I really don't plan to do anything else today. I'm not going to put out I don't think I'm going to put video. I may put out that little replay of my little speech this morning. Throw that out sometime this afternoon, but that's about it. I wonder if they'll find a way that advertisers won't be interested in that either. Maybe they have something against 77 and 3/4-year-old old farts giving speeches with microphones, because nothing I said in that speech could possibly be found offensive to anybody. Here's Seaside's little super chat. Thank you so much, sweetie. That's so nice of you. So nice of you. Oh, man, I love you guys. It's so much fun to just watch you guys chatting back and forth. I like this. This is a great quote. Tanya Kitchen Witch says, Mitch, like Dennis Leary says, why add years to your life? Who cares? It's the years at the end. Yes, that's true. That's interesting. That's true. I happen to think that the years, if they're years suffering, I'd rather not have them. I'm not doing this for longevity. I could care less how long I live. I'm going to live as long as I live. I'm going to do the best I can, but I'm not going to jump on every one of these videos that come out with some of these wild things they want you to do, because, you know, they claim it will increase your longevity. And yet, with all the talk about people living to be 120 years old, when I don't think that we have had anybody, not that we know about, not no human yet, that has come on YouTube and said, hi, I'm 120 years old. Do you know something I don't know? You've seen one of them? I've seen one like 113, 114, but that's been about the extent of it. So far, as far as I'm concerned, all this longevity crap is just sales pitches for some product or other. It's bullshit. If I'm still around, if I do what I'm doing and I'm still around at 110 years old, I'll still be here telling you, well, you know, using myself as an example. I say, here's proof. Don't believe all that bullshit. I'm living it. And that's the best I can do. And I have to be careful, because if somebody does live that long, and somebody who is anti-carnivore or anti this movement will attack my death with something. Well, he would have lived to be 120 if he didn't smoke those damn cigars and drink that damn coffee. Everybody will second guess everything and try to put it to their advantage and make money and capitalize on it. That's the world we live in. Emmett says that he thinks that pork rinds are only good for coating things. I respectfully disagree, my friend. I love pork rinds. I take smoked salmon, put them on a pork rind, eat it like an hors d'oeuvre. I used to eat peanut butter back in those days when I was eating carbs. I used to eat peanut butter on pork rinds. It was delicious. You know, they go out of their way to mix salt and sweet together. That is a tremendously addicting flavor profile. The scientists know that. That's why they'll put salty nuts in a sweet candy bar. That combination hooks you. Just the right combination gives you that bliss point. You could pork rind is perfect with anything sweet if we ate anything sweet. I don't eat anything sweet anymore, so I don't do it. But believe me, it would be fabulous. It would be fabulous. Standing Foot's here. Here's a question. DS111, have you done Rick's heart attack drumstick yet? No, I haven't. I don't even know how what the recipe is. I have not watched much of Rick's stuff other than, in fact, I didn't even know he had a channel until a month ago. He was just a guest on my channel. Until one day I saw him announce that he had a live stream starting in a half an hour, which, to be quite honest, kind of pissed me off a little bit. I'm saying, I don't care what you do, Rick, but don't announce it to my audience, unless you, got a few $1,000 to pay me to run an ad for you. It's just not polite. And I don't think he took offense at that, and he never did it again, and that's great. I think it's great. If he wants to have live streams, he can do it anywhere he wants, and I wish him the best, but I haven't watched much of it. I don't have time. He does 3-4 hour live streams, for God's sakes. It's crazy. And I love the guy. I think he's a great guy. And I probably now will have to find out his recipe for heart attack chicken. And I will. I'm probably missing out on something great, especially if you guys recommend it to me. So thank you. And Rick, if you're listening, email me your recipe, will you? So I don't have to watch 16 hours of videos to try to find it. Just, that would be great, and I'll make it. And if you want me to, I'll help you promote it. I'll make it. I'll make a video about me making Rick's heart attack chicken. Give your channel a little publicity, a little shot. But you're doing all right, man. You got thousands of subscribers. I had no idea. I had no idea when I first met you. How could we possibly know? So many of you that come in here have your own channels that I have not been aware of. And unless you tell me I have a YouTube channel too, I assume you're a viewer. People say some very nice things to me, and I like that. I like that. Am I sneaking up on it? 11:06? Yes, I am sneaking up on it. Aaron and Bev. How young are you, Mitch? Bev says. Bev, I was born May the 7th, 1947. This May, 2.5 months, 3 months, I'll be 78 years old. That's how young I am. Yeah, pushing 78. When people say, how old are you, Mitch? I'm so close now, I say pushing 78. I feel guilty saying 77. I have always been that way. Whenever I get within 6 months of my next upcoming birthday, because I'm in my 78th year now. See, that's what happens. Because I will be a full 70. I will have lived 78 years in 3 months. So I'm 77.7, 8 years old. So I've just always never tried to make myself younger than I am. And I usually, when I get to the year of my next birthday, I start saying, when people say, how old are you? I say, I'm 78. Because I'm most of the way there. That's what I do. Most people go the opposite. I'm 76. Because I've only been 77 for 10 months, so I'm not willing to admit it yet. That's the attitude most people have. And I agree with you, CB, my friend. This is the truth. Longevity isn't important. It's the quality of life, not the quantity. It's important in so many things. Except ribeyes. The quantity of ribeyes is pretty important, too. Terry Sue says, do you think Vaseline on the skin is dangerous? Well, it is a petrochemical, so who knows? Who knows? I found people use animal fats instead and have great results with them. But I have not researched that because I don't use Vaseline for anything and never have. But it is a derivative of oil. So maybe it would be better left to use to grease machinery gears with, but like so many things that started out as motor oil and lubricants, they have become health products and food, like seed oils. I would look into that a little bit. I'm sure people have made many videos. I would research some of the more trusted names in our community, and I'm sure you'd find the answer to that question. I don't know enough about it to give you an answer one way or the other than try beef tallow. Are we getting to the end here? Yes, we're coming. I need to go a little faster here. Look for the last questions. It's time for me to start thinking about eating my first meal of the day. I'm going to have bacon and eggs today. I haven't had bacon and eggs for a couple days because I was traveling. I did it. I did it, my friends. I got to the bottom of the chat. As usual, you know that I usually get a little round of applause, give myself a little round of applause for that accomplishment of either reading or skimming every one of the chat entries today. Get a chance to push a button or two, which you know I enjoy. Bill Cook's the last one in there. Could use coconut oil. It smells better. Yeah, coconut oil or avocado oil, better than Vaseline. There's a lot of fats. It depends on what you're trying to do. And you got to be careful when you buy some of these prescription things, what the base of them is. When you, like Neosporin or some of those other things, treatments, or even capsules that you get, the gel caps and things. So many of them are seed oil based. So pure lanolin is good. See how helpful we all are? Ain't it great? Ain't it great? Isn't it great that we do this every morning? And my friends, time for me to go. But I will be back Monday morning, 9:30 a.m. And we'll do this again. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming to visit me today. Had very nice attendance. I don't think I said anything that might offend any potential advertiser, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. The attendance is great. The replays are great. Things are picking up. It's encouraging, but you can't rest on your laurels. You got to keep going in this as in any other field of endeavor. So we're here. It's a big part of my life. It's a big part of my life, and I'm glad that you're making it a part of yours. So let me give you a little happy music. We were so happy today, I haven't needed this happy music. I'm hoping tomorrow to be doing it from outside, where you may have to witness a puff or two of that god-awful cigar smoking that I do. I will have my new coffee cup with me, should the occasion arise for me to put out a message that maybe I don't want to say, because I know the YouTube is listening and they won't pick it up if I use my cup. CB, you didn't know that would be such a great tool for me to express an opinion without actually getting penalized for it. Ha! Oh man, Aunt B says, Mitch, have a great Sunday and give yourself the rest of the day off. And eat the plant eaters. Yes, yes, yes. And look at all the people saying goodbye. Anna, Bill, Cook, Danny in Boston, Lori, David, Parker, Aunt B, Aaron, Booby Goats. Holy cow, Smoothie, 420, DS111, Tanya, Kitchen Witch, Father of United Carnivore, Michael, Sealy Sr., William McCartney, Jackie W. Turry, Sue Golf Addict, Spanky says dance. Tom in Tampa, Mama, Bear, Bill Cook, Lori's Carnivore Story again. Bev, you're welcome. Bev says thanks. Holy cow, Tammy Patarch didn't say hi to you. Good to see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It was great to see all of you this morning. Thanks for watching. I will see you again, 9:30 tomorrow morning. Until then, take the rest of the day off. Eat meat.